Hi, I'm Megan from the Prophecy Marketing team, and for my hackathon submission, I looked at inventory data. So in this data set from Kaggle, there was some demand forecasting data, inventory monitoring, aka supply, and some pricing optimization data. And this data set was AI generated, just as a side note. So over in Prophecy, I started out with some exploratory data analysis, getting things like ranges, null values, outliers, just to see the quality of data I'm working with. And overall, things were looking pretty good data quality wise, but AI pulled out some interesting things here, like that the stock levels can reach 0. And so that was something that I wanted to investigate in this project. Before I jumped into that, I looked at some of the data types and found that some should have been numbers instead of strings. And then I also wanted to dive into the demand data a bit more to understand trends. Understanding, could I create a forecast for future demand? So that prompt generated this dashboard where I looked into, seeing that there's not a ton of seasonality by month in the demand, and I saw that there's also a pretty even split on promotions and things like that when it comes to the sales. So then I kind of had a side exploration here of, okay, if I wanted to create a demand forecast, how would I go about that? Prophecy provided some recommendations of different routes I could go, but I did not end up exploring that fully. I basically found out after trying this prompt about creating a forecast that I didn't quite have the right data here for that. I didn't have enough data. So back to kind of my main line of questioning. That top one was really just the exploration piece, and then this bottom pipeline is really where I made my main analysis. So I joined my data together after the reformat gems, and then I started to look into supply versus demand and diving into that stockouts issue that I mentioned earlier. I kind of started out with a prompt where I specified the exact logic that I wanted for the stockouts, basically basing it on lead time, identify the critical stockouts in the near term. And I saw that there were 4 products where that was detected, but I just suspected there was more issues. So then I kind of gave AI free rein to say, create an analysis of overall inventory health. And that created a really interesting dashboard that I'll show real quick. So for this dashboard, basically AI went ahead and surfaced some key insights and determined some thresholds for inventory risk status. And once this loads, here we go. We've got the product distribution by coverage. So you can see the inventory situation is pretty dire with most things running out in the next 14 days. So there's clearly a lot of inventory issues here. And there's some interesting charts of just stock versus demand. And then a nice data summary here of the most critical items for reordering needed. So, if I were to extend this, we could have it email out this critical stockout items report to the relevant stores to get them to reorder now. And then AI had a few more key findings suggesting some recommended actions just based on this inventory health situation, and some interesting findings about demand outpacing supply and some lead time mismatch to investigate. So that was my hackathon project. Thank you so much for watching.